Growing up, I knew that God existed, but I was never a churchgoer. I kind of knew that there was this God that existed, and in my heart, when I look back at it now, I realize that God was kind of working through my life at separate points, but I never really thought much about it. I surrounded myself with good people who really cared about me, and ultimately what happened was I took advantage of a lot of that. I was into the party scene heavily. I was just really self-centered and selfish, more than I would like to admit at that time. I had a lot of friends. I really took advantage of that, and in my heart, my self-worth in this world was based on what people thought about me. I just kind of did anything that I wanted, and I had no one there who really showed me why I have these things, and that's ultimately what hit me and changed my life. There was a guy in our high school that took his own life and committed suicide, and that day, it just hit me. It really hit me that the thought that I had was that should have been me. And that's a real scary spot to be in. That tough situation that I went to where I was filled with suicidal thoughts and I was just filled with guilt. I went to a friend and all he said to me was, "You need to come to church." And at that point, I wasn't going to say no. I thought, okay. I didn't know anything about this God thing or what it meant. I thought church was kind of this museum for good people, but I really found out that church is like a hospital for the broken, and that's where my life really changed. September 12th, 2010 was the day that I went to church, and the message from the pastor was a salvation-driven message. And I remember just sitting in the pew and just God dealt with my heart. The wife of the guy who I went to church with just asked me if I wanted to go up to the front. It was an altar call, and my heart was just burning, and I was hot, and I was probably sweating, and I was just crying, and I said, yes, I need to go up there. I went up to the altar, and all I remember is saying the sinner's prayer, and the pastor asking me if I knew Jesus, and I said no, and he asked me if I wanted to know Jesus, and I said yes. I gave my heart to Jesus that day, and it changed my life. I went from sex, drugs, and alcohol before I met Jesus to ultimately Jesus and prayer and worship. It was a dramatic change, and it's not a change that I really wanted to seek out, but it's what he changed in my heart. I just tried to get into the Word, and I surrounded myself with awesome people who really, truly cared about me and helped me. God does not give me the spirit of fear that I have, and he does not give me this worry that I have. That's not from God. But God has given me power and love and a sound sense of mind. I need to proclaim what God has done in my life, and ultimately I feel like that's what led me to the worship center, to serve there, to really give it back to Jesus and give it back to God and say, you know what, because of you, I have these things in my life. The first day that I went to church and the day that I got saved, there was a girl singing on the stage that kind of caught my eye, and it just turns out that girl is going to be the woman that I'm marrying. Kristen is my fiance, and we're getting married on May 18th. So it's an amazing testimony for God, how he can bring two people together and change lives. What you can do with his power, if you just turn your life over, you can live in complete freedom and complete joy from a God that you can have a relationship with and just seek his presence every single day.